Peter King joins us. Got a Belichickian look to him today. Check out Peter's Football Morning. Football
No,
Morning.
if it was Belichickian, I'd have the sleeves cut off, wouldn't I?
Well, it's a little breezy today.
Yeah.
Now, we can do that. I can get one of the guys in back.
No.
Okay.
I like this sweatshirt. I got it at Game 3 of the World Series.
And what is Ryan Zimmerman?
It's the Ryan Zimmerman quote. Remember this one? I blacked out it, and then we won. Yeah.
Football Morning in America, must read for every NFL fan at NBCSports.com.
What about for every human being on the planet?
I don't think for everybody.
Oh, all right.
Okay, for most people, I would think, because most people are football fans on the planet. How would you have been if you were a baseball writer instead of a football columnist? Because it feels like you love baseball more than you love football.
I don't know. It's close, but here's the thing about baseball. Baseball, I think we can all watch it and all have an idea right at that absolute moment. Why in the world didn't A.J. Hinch put Garrett Cole in Game 7? Yeah. Why? And I love this comment where everybody says, well, you don't want to bring Garrett Cole in the middle of an inning. He's never been a relief pitcher in his life. What difference does it make? It's the same number of warm-up pitches if he comes in at the start of the 8th or in the middle of the 7th. I don't, or with one out in the 7th. I don't really understand the logic. And look, I think A.J. Hinch is fantastic. I really think he's an excellent manager. I
was right there with you.
I think he made a mistake.
I would have left Greinke in for one more batter because he'd thrown 80 pitches.
And because he had, I think it was the 2-1 count to Juan Soto. He threw a perfect strike that the ump missed.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't like he had fallen apart after giving up the home run. He hadn't. He walked a guy, and he gave up 4 base runners in 6 1/3 or whatever it was. I don't know. I just think he really had a quick hook for a guy who was dominating the game.
Yeah, I can't have the best pitcher in baseball who is still in the bullpen, and he never comes into the game.
And Will Harris, who was running on fumes, evidently. So, hey, whatever.
Thank you for coming in and joining us here in the Man Cave. That Chargers story got shot down quickly by Dean Spanos yesterday.
Yes.
Was it a real story?
Dan, all I know is, and believe me, I'm no Shefty or Rappaport or anything like that right now in my life, because I don't wake up in the morning and see a piece of news like that and make 6 phone calls. I just don't do that right now. But I did make 2 phone calls yesterday to ask if it was real, and 2 people who I feel are plugged into it say it was absolutely news to them. So that's all I know. It seems highly unlikely from this standpoint. The NFL is not going to put a team in London until at the absolute earliest 2022. So the Chargers have to go somewhere. They can't keep playing in a soccer stadium for the next 3 years. Yeah. I mean, they've got to go somewhere. So I think it would be highly unlikely that they wouldn't be playing in Los Angeles.
But you can't send them to Oakland. They're not going back to San Diego. There's sort of a
I think they're going to L.A. and they're probably gonna have a bunch of empty seats early on, and it'll be an L.A. thing. If they win, people will come.
A couple other things here. Cam Newton done for the rest of the year. Yeah. Could we see an Andrew Luck situation here?
No, I don't think that Cam Newton will voluntarily walk away from what I know of the situation. I think Cam Newton might, and the Panthers have 4 months before they have to make this decision, the start of the league year, basically. They might get a divorce from Cam Newton, but I am not taking that for granted at all. I just think it's a possibility. They could save a lot of money on the cap, like, I don't know, $17 or $18 million. And, Dan, you have to remember this. If Cam Newton, wherever he lines up on opening day 2020, it basically will be 2 years plus almost that he's been healthy. Yeah. Because remember, last year he had the shoulder thing almost the whole year. This year he comes in late August and gets the Liz Frank injury. I don't, and remember, I talked to him right at the end of July, early on in camp, and he said flat out that I am learning how to be a quarterback in a different way. So, what are you getting if you sign Cam Newton, or what are the Panthers getting if they bring him back? So I think it is definitely up in the air right now.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for Carolina to move on for a variety of reasons, because now you're going to ask Cam Newton to be something that he's not great at, and that's being, I can't use my legs.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be that kind of quarterback. Now I'm going to be a pocket passer, and I haven't been a great pocket passer. Kyle Allen is one of those guys who just says, okay, this is what I'm able to do. I'm not going to color outside the lines.
Yeah.
And it feels like they know what
it's a match with Norv Turner.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You're right.
And I will say this, though. Cam Newton was very, very pro Norv Turner, very in the corner of becoming more of a classic quarterback when I saw him in the summer. So we just don't know. And the other question is, this is why this was such an important year for Newton, because we needed to see if he was going to be good at being that kind of quarterback, and we just don't know right now.
If you're the Chicago Bears,
I play Chase Daniel right now.
But do you admit you've made a mistake with Mitchell Trubisky?
There's no. You don't have to say a word. You just have to say we're giving Mitch some downtime. Look, Dan, I don't know what you think, but I watched a bunch of their game the other day against Philly, and you see, and I'm not saying that facial expressions tell everything. Mitchell Trubisky, there were times when they locked in on his face where he looked like he was in an oral surgeon's chair without Novocaine. And he just, this has got to be incredibly uncomfortable for him. Imagine you're Mitchell Trubisky. You're a nice guy. Everybody loves you. You go to North Carolina. You play for 1 year and 1 year only, and you're pretty good. Who knows how great you are, because they haven't seen all that much of you, but a team chooses you high in the first round, and it just happens to be in Chicago, and all the fans want is for you to be better than Jim McMahon and the next Michael Jordan or something like that. They want a savior at quarterback, and when you're drafted number 2 overall, there are great expectations.
They would take Rex Grossman right now.
Well, I don't know about that. But I'll say this, that I don't think that Matt Nagy has to say a word other than we just think this week, right now, Chase Daniel gives us a better chance to win. Because right now, listen, every time the Bears, one more loss right about now, and I say it's over. But it's not over right now. If they win the next couple of weeks, as unlikely as it sounds, they're still in it. And so I think you've got to do what is the best thing for you to win this game and this game only.
Talking to Peter King, you can read his column. Everybody in America, in the world, should read it. It's Football Morning in America.
That's what I say.
Yeah, every Monday at NBCSports.com. If you're the Eagles, would you kick the tires on Antonio Brown?
Absolutely not. No way.
You lost to Sean Jackson.
I don't care. You get Antonio Brown. You're casting your fate to the wind. Look, we can talk about whether you think he's guilty, think he's innocent, anything like that. But anybody who takes him, in my opinion, just basically says that, we will. Now, the Patriots signed him before the most grievous of accusations came out. Okay, now that those accusations came out, and obviously you're innocent till proven guilty in America, but I just think right now, if you take him on your team, and not only that, but he is a divisive figure. That's what he is. He's a divisive figure. I just would not take the risk if I were the Eagles.
Give me the number of teams you think who have a very good chance of going to the Super Bowl, starting in the AFC. How many teams in the AFC do you think have a solid chance to go to the Super Bowl?
I would say as of today, 3. the Patriots, the Ravens, and the Chiefs.
Not the Texans.
Well, I mean, I like the Texans. You say it's solid chance.
Yeah.
I'd put them number 4, and I would have a little bit of a line of demarcation after Kansas City. But we're assuming Kansas City with Mahomes. With Mahomes coming back. Yeah.
In the NFC, how many teams?
Well, the NFC is a complex place right now because I still think that Green Bay is in it. I think that San Francisco and New Orleans right now are 1 and 1A. And then Green Bay, and then I'm not sure if I like Seattle or Dallas better. But I think Seattle and Dallas are close, and then I think the Rams. But I'm not counting Philadelphia out. And I'm dubious about Minnesota, but Minnesota is intriguing.
Do you know who the Cowboys are?
No, because they always make 3 or 4 mistakes every game, and you say, why did that happen? The interception on the first series the other day where, somehow, some way, Dak Prescott doesn't see Antoine Bethea. And I don't know. There's some weird – look, Dak Prescott's going to make a lot of money, and rightfully so, but he's not immune from this stuff either. He makes a few mistakes, and I think he's a very good player, and I would pay him, and I would be happy to pay him because I think he is incredibly reliable, and I like him a lot as a person and a leader, but he makes his share of mistakes as well.
More likely to be one and done, Gase or Freddie Kitchens?
I mean, that's the question of the day. You change almost every Monday on that one, but my gut feeling is just an absolute gut feeling is Kitchens, because that was a game Sunday they needed to win. And Dan, I did a chart in my column on Monday. Now we have the exact perfect way to compare what happened last year to this year, because last year Freddie Kitchens took over with 8 games left.
Yeah.
Now they have played 8 games. And the passer rating of Baker Mayfield last year in the last 8 was 106. The passer rating of Baker Mayfield this year in the first 8 games is 71. How in the world, with the same coach and better personnel at skill positions, how are you 35 quarterback rating points worse than you were last year? I want to know. Now, one of my pet theories is that it has nothing to do with commercials or anything like that, but I think the offensive line is mediocre at absolute best, and it's not doing Mayfield any favors. But that is the biggest damning thing about Freddie Kitchens right now. Why is the quarterback playing like crap when you had him last year and he was playing great?
But I look at Sam Darnold as well.
Yes.
Adam Gase is supposed to be
question.
this. When you're the quarterback whisperer and your quarterback is regressing, I got to start.
Regressing significantly. I think that is a big – look, I think the Jets probably have the worst offensive line in football. So that is a huge problem for Sam Darnold. But I think the other problem is, look, I understand he had massive quarterback injuries in Miami. Tannehill couldn't stay healthy. I get it. But he went to Miami to develop the quarterback position, and he left it probably in worse shape than when he arrived. Yeah. And in his last 21 games, he's 5-16. So, I mean, something has got to change here in the last half of this season. I mean, I was thinking about this on my way over here today. How about the Giants and Jets playing Sunday?
I know.
How about both fan bases wearing bags over their heads? I mean, that could happen.
How about we put a bag over the stadium, Pete?
Yeah.
Let's just not let anybody watch this thing. A side topic here. Has anybody talked to Andrew Luck recently?
Not that I know of. I probably should try, but when he left, somebody who knows him just said, you won't be hearing from Andrew Luck this year. He's going to go away. And I think, it's so interesting what happened. I can't wait to have, at one point, sometime in life, a long conversation with him. Because, Dan, 19 days before he quit football, he stood there with me, and he was damn excited about this season. And I just really want to know what happened. And why, when he did it seem like the weight of Antarctica was off his shoulders?
Yeah, and I don't hear Colts fans clamoring for Andrew Luck because Jacoby Brissett has played extremely well.
The quarterback is not the problem. I mean, there isn't a problem. They're a good team.
Yeah, they are.
They're a good team. But I agree. I mean, Jacoby Brissett was in a unique position. First of all, he's pretty good, and he took almost every snap all off season with the ones. They were used to playing football with Jacoby Brissett, not Andrew Luck. And not that Andrew Luck wouldn't have been better this year. I'm not saying that, but this guy was in a perfect position. And I can tell you legitimately, I know Frank Reich well. He loves Jacoby Brissett.
And rightfully so.
Yep.
Jacoby Brissett, there's a couple of these quarterbacks who could be like a secondary. If you're giving out a secondary MVP this year, Teddy Bridgewater, Kyle Allen.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett, like guys who aren't going to win it.
Yeah.
But if you had that, these are guys who have been as valuable to their
Teddy
team.
Bridgewater was unbelievable and totally changed everybody's view of who Teddy Bridgewater is. Nobody knew anything about him. He hadn't played football in 4 years. Yeah. And he comes out and he's shaky the first couple of games, but he wins. And then he starts playing. Sean Payton and he start getting comfortable with each other. And that was a phenomenal run that he had and great for him. And now, I'll tell you, who takes Teddy Bridgewater next year? Okay? Who does it? Is it, if I were the Bears, I'd go hard after Teddy Bridgewater. I would love to have that guy on my team, not only to be quarterback, but to try to save Mitchell Trubisky. And Teddy Bridgewater would do it. He would help Trubisky. He is a selfless guy. He's like this generation's Josh McCown. He's a good human being. Now, he wants the job.
Yeah.
And he would try to beat him back for the job, but he would help Trubisky.
Thanks for coming in, Pete.
Thanks, Dan.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
It's the column that everybody in the world is reading.
I love Dan. I love Dan.
You are like in Istanbul.
Yes.
You are killing Istanbul.
Irkutsk.
Yeah.
I play Risk.
Sri Lanka. Yeah, and you can't go anywhere without seeing that column. Football Morning in America. It's every Monday at NBCSports.com.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.